explodes onto America. His soul transforms her into a lethal assassin. Who are you? Her only hope is Yamada, the master ninja who has been sent to destroy him. An epic struggle of superhuman strength and supernatural forces. Ninja 3, The Domination. Rated R.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the most glorious of events, the Movie Mavericks podcast. This outstanding program is hosted by two fine gentlemen, Jason and Trevor. Now make it so.
MovieMavericks.com.
Hey, now everybody, welcome to a special episode of the Movie Mavericks podcast. We are jumping around. I've got a silk onesie on. I think Jason does too, in preparation for what we're about to talk about. I'll send you over to Mr. Rugard. He'll let you know.
Your silk onesie is one thing. I prefer to call it a ninja gi. We are going to be talking about. We're running around as little ninjas today. If you hadn't. Little Ninjas, I think, is an appropriate
title
give
it away.
For this movie. We're going to be talking about the Cannon Films classic, Ninja 3, The Domination, which is a hell of a title. No, we're not talking about Ninja Turtles 3 or Three Ninjas. It's the other ninja movie with the 3 in its title.
Or American Ninja 3.
There's a lot of these fucking movies.
Although we should do American Ninja 3 next.
I loved American Ninja 3.
If we're going to do thirds, we should do that one next.
American Ninja 3 might be my favorite of the whole series, so I'm not against that.
Let's do that retro next.
Okay.
It's keeping in the ninja thing. We're doing thirds this year for retros, guys.
2003, we're going to give you the third entry in series as our retro features. I want to discuss this offline with you too. I have a couple wacky ideas for third entries, but I do like the American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt idea, so that's the next one. Also a Cannon film. What can you say? What can you not say? I mean, it's a Cannon film, so you know there's at least 3 ninjas per movie, right? These are the guys, the exploitation masters, the Israeli gentlemen Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus, who started Cannon Films. And Menahem Golan directed the first entry, which is Enter the Ninja, starring Franco Nero and Susan George, two Italian film staples. And then we had Revenge of the Ninja, which is my personal favorite of this early trilogy. And then you get Ninja 3, The Domination. This movie's a body swap movie. It's a possession movie.
Well, these are both, we should say that, you mentioned Mr. Golan directed the first one. These are the sequels were both directed by Sam Furstenberg, and I will say that I agree with you that the first two are kind of make sense together. This one's the oddball. It's the weird one, and it's also the one that's titled Ninja 3, and the other ones weren't Ninja, or wasn't Ninja 2. Those are other movies.
Yeah, they weren't sequentially titled at all.
So this is definitely the oddball, and I like this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I agree with you. This is the weird one.
This came out in 1984. It was directed by Sam Furstenberg. And I want to pause for just a brief second because I found a clip I want to let the audiences listen to about Tarantino's starting a Sam Furstenberg fan club and where he rates the top 3 Cannon films. We'll be right back.
I think I had seen Revenge of the Ninja, but I watched it again now, taking him into account. And I really liked it. Then I running out to see American Ninja like the day it opened because I was a Sam Furstenberg fan. I was just all this one man fan club of Sam Furstenberg. And but I made a bunch of friends. We had a small little group, all right, but I was the leader of the group for sure. When it comes to the Sam Furstenberg club,
if you were to ask me what my 3 favorite Cannon movies are, well, number 1 would be Runaway Train, which we're going to sing. Number 2 would be 52 Pickup. Number 3 would be Ninja 3, The Domination.
Okay, so he rated the top 3 Cannon films according to Tarantino. Number 1, Runaway Train. Number 2, 52 Pickup. And number 3, Ninja 3.
I'll give him 52 Pickup. I think that's a surprisingly good movie that everyone should see if you get a chance.
I would agree. That's a great John Frankenheimer movie with Roy Scheider, and a good villain performance by John Glover in that movie, too. He kind of makes that movie.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be a good movie. Believe me, you look at the box, it looks pretty generic and all that, but surprisingly good.
And I do like Runaway Train. I always forget that it's a Cannon film because it doesn't fit with their exploitation model. Because let's be honest, that's what they were really specializing in. They stumbled into this ninja genre by accident, and they're most directly responsible for starting the 1980s craze that was ninjutsu. I mean, people started opening up schools. As funny as it seems now, I mean, this is the decade that the Ninja Turtles were spawned.
I mean, in America, but correct. They brought it into mainstream Hollywood I'd agree with you on that. Obviously, for decades, this has been going on in Asian countries.
Right, yeah.
And they've actually imported them for a long time. So it wasn't until this that we got regular Hollywood studios starting to make ninja movies.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because with the start of 1981's Enter the Ninja through the early 90s, there had to have been 36 ninja films that were released into cinemas and twice as many to home video.
We're still talking early 80s. Even with Ninja 2 was like
83?
Mid 80s?
No, 83. Yeah, this was 1984.
Something like that.
And then in 1985, this is followed by American Ninja, and that starts its own, 4-film franchise.
Right. And those are more action. To be fair, some of the American Ninja, but some of those become more of American action movies.
This is definitely, out of all of the films that we just mentioned, though, in that series, this is by far the odd man out because tonally it's completely different. I mean, let's start off.
It has a horror aspect to it.
It has a female lead. Let's start off with the most
mysticism.
Glaring, difference is the female lead.
Lucinda Dickey is fucking fantastic.
Lucinda Dickey isn't given much to work with in this movie and seems to be still likable. She carries off what she's asked to do very professionally, is I guess the best thing I can say about her in this movie.
I liked her in this. She's not someone who acts a lot, so this is one of the few times you're ever going to come across her. But I really liked her in this. I think it's a shame she's not in more things. And I like that they picked a dancer, so to speak, to be a ninja, because it makes sense, like the way that she's able to move her body and stuff. Makes her seem more ninja-like. I
like that you think that was a creative choice and not that they were just directly ripping off Flashdance, which should come a year earlier, who was a steel worker by day and a dancer by night. Here, she's a telephone worker by day.
A rip-off of that,
and an aerobics instructor at night. That's what I saw right there. It's like, oh, she's an aerobics instructor. It was a total Jennifer Beals type rip-off is what I saw.
I thought they were looking for someone athletic more than likely is what would be my guess. And still someone who looked good, and she's a looker for sure.
Well, her first big action scene in the film is this kind of gymkata situation where she's flipping around poles and using a stairwell to kick the shit out of three would-be attackers. And it's one of the most bizarre scenes in the film because she's done her class. These meatheads at the gym wait for her when she gets out. They try to rape her basically in front of the entire class where nobody does anything, including the guy who eventually, the cop in the class who eventually becomes her boyfriend in the following scene. It's one of the more bizarre entries in a weird story.
That's the one thing I don't understand about this movie is the like when you read the plot of this and stuff, they don't really explain to you how she gets the boyfriend and stuff, and it has to be hands down the most unbelievable part of the entire movie. Right? I believe that she had the spirit of a ninja inside of her more than I believe that she fell in love with this guy.
Oh, it's one of the worst romances I've ever seen put on film. But let's briefly say what the film is about, and it's about a girl who is working for the telephone company in the daytime, teaching aerobics classes in the evening, and stumbles upon this guy who's a ninja who's committed a murder, right?
Well, the movie starts with a great
opening 10 minutes.
Right in the beginning, where you have Sho Kasugi, who's in all these movies. It's not Sho. Excuse me, not him.
No.
It's not Sho. He's later on. Who's the guy?
It's a no-name person who happens to be in a couple of Canon films. He was also in, he's a bad guy in one of the Missing in Action films, is the only way I can describe him.
I'm not even sure if I've seen, do we even see his face in this?
Yes.
I'm not even sure about that.
Right when he gets to the cave, because
most of the time he's covered up. So excuse me, I got the other guy mixed up. The other guy shows up, he's got an eye patch on. We'll talk about him later. Or Sho Kasugi. He's in all of the ones, but he plays in later in this. So the opening, we have a ninja guy. He discovers this, I don't know, a temple?
No, it's a hidden cave.
What the fuck is it?
He's got
hidden cave. It's a temple, bro. He pulls out like a crazy like sword and shit out of this like. He's like doing some ninja archaeology and shit. And he finds this fucking old sword and he pulls it out. He's like, I am the ninja, And then he just fucking kills people. It's crazy. Like he goes on some revenge spree, I guess. A never ending revenge spree, apparently, if you watch this fucking movie. And he kills some golfers.
Yeah, I mean, you're
right.
Hold on. He basically.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm just telling you what happens.
He really does. He basically assassinates this man on a Palm Springs golf course
and his girlfriend.
He
kills some golfers. The cops come.
Rightfully so.
Or actually, security comes. He kills security. The cops come. He kills all the cops. The cops shoot him, and then he dies. But then he gets back up, and they kill some more cops, and they shoot him again. And then he dies.
And then he uses a smoke bomb as a distraction.
And then he uses a smoke bomb, even though he's encircled.
Yes.
With a smoke bomb down, and he disappears. Now that's some ninja shit right there.
That is some ninja shit.
And he's gone, and then he goes and he dies.
Well, before he dies,
no.
She finds his body,
Right,
and his spirit is then transferred.
This is where you're talking. So yeah, go ahead.
Her body, his spirit is transferred into her body because she happens to come across this dying person. This is where the film, in terms of a narrative structure and storyline, is so wrong-headed because it turns into a kind of revenge-o-matic in a lot of ways, in which this woman is now possessed by this deadly spirit of this vengeful ninja who only wants to kill all of these police officers. Well, really, the police officers were not in the wrong for killing this man who assassinated somebody on a golf course.
He was just killing them. They were protecting themselves, if anything, from him.
So you don't have any
it's an endless revenge. He's just a revenge ninja.
But you don't have any affinity for her mission in the film. You don't want her to complete her goal.
But that works out because she's not doing it. It's the ninja.
Of course,
he's the ninja. Evil, and so he's inside of her, making her do these things, and she doesn't want to be doing this, so she wants to get rid of him.
So she becomes possessed by the spirit. And
her boyfriend is the cop who also shot the ninja, and every time she sees him, the ninja's like, I hate that guy.
Yeah, even though she's fucking him the entire movie, but then she flashes on him. If you take the behavior that she presents to him, it's absolutely schizophrenic, and he should run for his life. And being a trained officer,
they should have had a better sex scenes in this with that. Like, you could imagine the orgasms and like the zoom ins on people's faces of like, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, we're gliding over something, and I want to bring it up. When she goes into the body swap moments, when she becomes overtaken by this ninja, this vengeful ninja inside her, there is this kabuki type makeup that is applied to her that is laughable.
Oh yeah, that makes her eyes look Asian.
Yes,
is the nicest way I'll say it. Like they're slanted.
Yeah, and it's
like they make her eyes skinny, and it's weird, bro.
It's funny, but it's supposed to signal you that now she is being possessed. And in some of these sequences, she's asked to go and she murders this man with a samurai sword. Well, Sho Kazugi, who you talked about, has been flown in from Japan to take care of this evil spirit that somebody realizes is still out there running. Never really clear who told him to come or who hired him to come take care of this to me, but regardless, he's now in America.
Well, he's trying to get he wants revenge on this ninja, right?
But who told him to come?
As we learned from the
that he's been spirited, and a lot of holes.
I'm not sure that's covered.
I don't think it is at all. But I think you're not supposed to think about that. Know.
But they go to visit the Asian. I won't call him an exorcist, but he's like
he is
an
exorcist
guy, is he not? But he doesn't do a very good job at it.
Bro,
He actually gives up. At one point, he's just like, I better just like he ties her up, and the ninja in her is like, set me free. He's like, well, I better just do what he asks instead of like, what kind of an exorcist are you? You're just going to set them free? They're going to kill you.
Well, two things here. One is that it's Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China performing the exorcism. And two is the fact that we have an exorcism scene in the middle of a martial arts film. When she commits that first murder and kills the guy with the samurai sword, and they're looking for possible suspects, and the cops are scratching their heads, say who could have done this, nobody thinks to question the shady-looking Japanese guy standing as a bystander with the fucking eye patch on, who looks like he carries a samurai sword.
Him.
Does he? I don't recall that.
The cop, the cop turns, her boyfriend, right, comes onto the scene at one point and turns and looks straight at that dude, and that guy's sitting there in the crowd who's come to apparently look at the cop scene, which they always do, but I don't believe they do that in real life. And he's there, and he sees him, and like they make eye contact, and then he turns away, and I think he even turns back, and the guy's gone.
Okay, that I think that's maybe you're right. I think you're right. I think I might have understood that because I thought there's no way that somebody, even with the stretch of imagination in this movie, that somebody wouldn't have noticed.
Well, they don't do anything about it because I don't think he really knows. He's still like the way they play with that the boyfriend thing is like he sees some shit's going down, but he doesn't believe it. Is it real? Is it not? In his mind for a while.
And the boyfriend is this Steve Guttenberg lookalike, right?
Who's hairy as fuck.
I was going to say, I'm so glad.
Bro, there's a shot of this guy's back and shoulders, and I'm just like, ugh.
Bro, I thought it was me. I made a note that says the lead male actor's excessive body hair is only matched by Dan Hedaya in Alien Resurrection.
Look, the front is fine, but bro, the shoulders and the upper back, like shave that shit if you're going to be on camera.
Oh, you're being kind. I mean, he is Burt Reynolds times 10 hairy. I mean, it is funky. He's like Robin Williams, never cut his hair ever. But I'm glad you said that too. But one of my favorite lines in this movie, and it's a movie that has a lot of laughable lines, is when he offers her a soda in the police station when they're holding her on their initial interaction, and she says, "Sorry, I don't use soft drinks," like it's a drug. drug. That was one of my favorite lines.
She's a health person.
Oh, she takes care of her body in this movie. I mean, that's shown over and over and over.
Look, I just love that she's always driving around that fucking phone truck, that phone van.
Yeah, that's really
where she goes.
It is like, with the ladder on top and the whole thing, and she got the hard hat on in the first scene. What I loved about that opening scene too is when the ninja was killing the golfer, he just happened to know where this golfer was going to shank his fucking ball. He predicted where this guy's shot was going to be and just happened to be there. And the guy he kills looked like he was going to die from a pastrami sandwich in about 10 minutes anyways. So he didn't like he was doing the world any favors. There's no reason why he killed this person, so it gives you no sort of context even to begin with. I can't get over the thing is the cops are in the right on this movie for killing a guy who basically murdered 2 people for no reason, and she's exacting the vengeance of this serial lunatic.
Purpose. The ninja in this is the bad guy. Well, actually, the tagline of this is only a ninja can kill a ninja, right? I mean, that's the line from this movie. So the good guy would be Sho Kasugi, whatever the character's name is. I don't know. That's the good guy, and the girl, as well as Lucinda Dickey, right? They're the good guys, and so is the cop. The bad guy is the ninja.
Yep. Which
is kind of weird. Ninja 3, the Domination, but the ninja is the Dominator. He's the bad guy.
I think it should be the Overtaker.
Overtaker.
That the movie really didn't have any sort of...
But it should be Overtake and then her, right?
Oh, wow. Now you're getting more clever than they ever thought. That's more creativity than went into most of this movie, but I do want to say there are moments of creativity that are mind-blowing, like the sex scene where she uses V8 juice and pours it down her torso for some reason.
Bro, I was going to talk to you about that. What the fuck is that? And then he licks it up.
It's disgusting.
It's V8 juice.
It's sticky. It looks like blood. It's foul. The whole thing. It stinks.
It's the weirdest fucking food thing I've ever seen someone do.
I thought, well, is it because she's a health nut? Then I thought they couldn't have fruit. Could eat some fruit out of her mouth. They're like,
oh, for real.
I mean, eat a grape out of her navel, maybe. I mean, something that you could have done a better job than this V8 situation.
What's the joke? What's that movie where
it was a Hot Shots
movie? Isn't that a Hot Shots movie where he puts the grape in her belly button and he pops it out into his mouth?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Hysterical.
In this. Yeah. I've never been big on sex scenes with food in them, anyways, in movies. But
no,
still,
it's gross. But I still,
this is just fucking
V8
bizarre.
Thing was the weirdest choice I've ever seen.
My question too: there's a couple scenes where there is excessive violence on the ninja's part. I know he's supposed to be vengeful, but why, when he kills the cop who's in the hot tub, it's Lucinda Dickey acting as the ninja, why does he kill the 2 girls as well? Why does she kill she basically murders 2 innocent bystanders?
He just kills. I feel like he just kills. Yeah, but he's evil, right? Even when the flashback, when the other ninja who's coming to kill him, basically, when they do the flashback to, I'm guessing Japan, I don't know where the hell it is, he's just killing at will. And there's no reason, it seems, no reason rhyme for what he does. He's just a brutal person.
He's a Terminator type.
To some degree, yeah, and whoever gets in the way, even joyously, right? Like the scene you're talking about, he seems pretty happy about killing those other women.
It has no problem making out with the cop in the form of a female. I mean,
which I thought was weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you start thinking about the implications of what this movie is saying in certain scenes, you're like, is there thought behind this, or is this just a collection of random scenes? Because, like I said, I think this movie was written independently, and then they made it, and they thought, well, we can tie this in through this strenuous thing by bringing Kokuji in very minimally. I mean, he's in this movie like Schwarzenegger's in Red Sonja. He's peppered through it. But
he's the ninja. He's the ninja that can kill the ninja. Only Kosugi can kill the ninja.
He's technically the hero, but we barely get to see him or know him.
Technically. They do have a great final fight. How many times does this guy have to die? He's literally dead in the final fight sequence. So I don't even know how you kill a dead person. But they kill him like 20 times again at the end, right? Just like they did at the beginning. But then he has the one part where he turns around and he drills into the ground.
I love it.
It has got to be. It's like Power Ranger-esque. Yeah. You know, it's just like, what the fuck am I watching?
That's a ninja movie for you. When somebody can throw a smoke bomb and disappear, be in the ground. I mean, it's just
right.
That kind of. This is why it appealed to young adolescent males, is because they were almost like magicians in a way. The kind of Eastern mysticism they brought with it let them get away with a lot of corny shit. I mean, even the first American Ninja, one of the ninjas has like a gun that he shoots at, like a web slinger, but it shoots bullets. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, this movie is bizarre because not only is the lead character possessed, she apparently also lives in a haunted apartment. The fucking sword vibrates, summons her, the arcade explodes and pulls her into it.
The arcade doesn't explode, bro. There's a whole sequence where the ninja's like, because as you're explaining, like basically this is like the part where the ninja is slowly like
taking
over her body. Yeah. And so it does like weird things, and she's kind of like dreaming in dream states, and the sword glows. Like you're saying, she's attracted to it, and like, oh wow, like she wants to like, fucking wield the sword. Basically, she wants to be like the ninja. It's like preparing her body for, him to take over. But there's that fucking arcade machine, which makes, well, first of all, why is that in her house?
No idea.
But secondly, why is he possessing her body through the arcade machine? It makes no sense. Like there's a whole sequence where it's just shooting out light onto her face for like several minutes, right? With all kinds of different graphics and things flying over her face and stuff. It's fucking awesome looking. Don't get me wrong.
It works well in the film too.
It's cinematic. It looks really good. It's fantastic. As far as that 80s styles and the neon lights and stuff, things that they did back then, it looks great. I don't know how the fuck it makes any sense at all.
I always thought, because it was electrical. It was the biggest piece of electrical thing that she had.
But he doesn't go through electrical anything else.
I know. It would have made more sense if he had touched the pole she was working on in the beginning and got electrocuted, and that's how he transferred his spirit into her, and she got shocked, as opposed to her finding the body in the beginning, because she was up on that pole. But they didn't explain
several
any
things
of that.
About this movie. It feels like they have to do something, so they just pick something that they can make look cool, but it doesn't make sense. That's a lot of this movie, I feel like.
Once again, poor Lucinda Dickey, who's asked to do all this bizarre shit and carries it off very well for the crazy stuff she's asked to do. And in a sense, she kind of reminded me of a Linda Blair. She has a Linda Blair type look. I mean, she's more attractive, I think, but she has a Linda Blair type look.
By far. But yeah, you're right. For as ridiculous as this movie is, I think what you're really saying is that everyone does seem to be in the moment for the world in which they're occupying.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous. And sometimes the things that they're doing are ridiculous, but they appear to be well motivated to do those things. Like it doesn't seem like it's out of character for them to do anything that they do, no matter how ridiculous it is.
And this is a movie where the moment it starts, you have to put your sense of disbelief. I mean, if you're watching a ninja movie, you don't be an asshole. Don't bring some sort of realism to it, because there's not many good ninja movies out there. And I've never truly loved this movie. Like I said, out of all the ninja movies that we talked about, Enter the Ninja Revenge, this, and then American Ninja 1 through 4, this is probably my least favorite of that grouping. But it's not because it's not well made for what it is, because this is an exploitation film, and Furstenberg knows what he's doing behind the camera. I watched this on VHS. I know you watched this on Blu-ray, so I'm sure that sequence with the arcade looked really good and crisp. But there is something about watching a VHS tape, because that's a film print transfer. The cigarette burns, the hum of the machine. It made this movie slightly more endearing to me than I remember it to being, honestly. I mean, yours was probably taken from an inner negative and a digital positive, and then it
doesn't say. It says film elements, original film elements. So it could be an interpositive. It could be.
Is that the
actually? This is 4K scan. It's probably it's the collector's edition, so it is the new transfer. Yeah. So it might be from negatives. I don't know if negatives exist. Regardless, this is gonna be probably the best transfer you're ever gonna see for this movie.
How'd it look?
Unless you get the 4K version, which would be slightly better than this. It looks fantastic. I did the special features. I bought this for special features, which I haven't watched any yet. Really, I want to watch I haven't seen this movie aside from VHS. Let me just say that. So this is the first time I've actually ever really owned this movie. And it looks fantastic. And of course, I haven't seen the movie in 20 plus years. And it's great, again, to rewatch it. But the special features on this are great. I really want to watch the Sam Furstenberg commentary, but I have not yet.
We got a chance to interview Sam back in 2011 on MovieMavericks.com. That interview's still up, where we talked about his filmmaking style and his ninja films, so check that out if you're interested. But we also watched this on different mediums, and the fact that I don't have access to that makes me insanely jealous, but I do have...
I wanted a VHS.
I have this VHS that I bought for 50 cents at a secondhand store, and it's the original MGM UA release with the big box art and the whole thing. And it's just something, and it's a heavy tape, it's got a weight to it, and it's just, this fucking thing makes, to me, this is the delivery system that is proper for this film.
I have to agree. Look, it's fucking amazing today. Like owning this movie, I basically own a film print of Ninja 3. Owning this Blu-ray, I don't know if people can really appreciate that just because there's Blu-rays and 4Ks. Just go buy them. With VHS and DVD, it's not. It wasn't like this. Like this is basically a fucking film print. You could project this in a theater and it would look great. That's unreal to me that's available. And so it's great to see to own it and to see it like that. But at the same time, you're sending me a picture of that fucking VHS tape and I was like, fuck, I gotta watch this thing on Blu-ray. I want to watch it on VHS.
The grass is always greener, I'm telling you. For those Canon releases that were through MGM in the early 80s, those big box releases, if you remember the video stores, I love watching those on VHS. I have a couple. I have this, I have Missing in Action 1 and the Beastmaster as well, which are the big silver box MGM UA releases that had the little tape inside. We were talking off air about laser discs, and you're getting rid of your collection, and it's about time maybe that I get rid of mine, and laser rot and this and that. And it's funny how VHS we're really the superior archival form in a lot of ways.
Depends on where you live and where they're kept. If you're back east and stuff, they get mold on them, right? And then you have to clean the mold off. So it's the same issue no matter what you do. If you don't keep them in a good environment, stuff will rot.
I think that these VHS tapes are holding up better than my Laserdiscs on the overall. I mean,
out here, I think they do. On the West Coast, I think that's probably true. On the East Coast, it's less true. And probably the more north you go, it's probably less true. The more wet things are, the worse it gets. Especially here, I have never in my life seen mold on a VHS tape. If you look anywhere out east, there's mold all over the VHS tapes.
Interesting.
You have to be super careful about getting it. And you can clean it off. They actually make systems and things that would clean it off. And I guess you can do it yourself too. It's pretty rampant out there. So it's all like it's all luck, I guess. I've seen more disc rot out here than I've never seen mold on a VHS tape.
A number of my Laserdiscs have disc rot, and I don't know if it's from
I don't have any
storage methods
I have some
or what.
DVDs. I've never had Laserdiscs, but I do have some DVDs.
I have some early burnt DVDs that I burnt about 20 years ago.
Those will,
are starting to fail.
those will come apart. They don't have disc rot. They just can't
They won't play. They just won't load
Yeah, well, for mine, the actual glue that holds the two things together came apart and it damaged the data layer in between them, and it won't play anymore. And then those look weird too. You can see, I don't know, you can see lots of DVDs, but lots of DVDs have that problem and stuff, and they still play. Blu-rays are really good, right? Those almost never go bad.
Unbelievable how resilient a Blu-ray is compared to a Laserdisc, and how much work that was, and how
which
you
is interesting because the HD DVDs have a shitload of rot on them.
Interesting.
Those go bad.
I mean, Laserdisc at the time had more information on them than DVDs did, and had a better picture in a lot of ways. And the first one.
Oh no. No. There's no way.
I thought some of those Laserdiscs.
The Laserdiscs are all analog. There's no digital except for some
those
of
Criterions?
the audio.
No.
No way. I mean, the video quality would be half that of DVD.
Well, shit.
I mean, the DVDs would be way superior unless there's like a transfer issue, which there have been. And let's be honest, there's 4K transfer issues where the Blu-rays look better than some of the 4Ks, but it's everyone's.
It's personal preference.
It's highly opinionated, I guess. Yeah, for that degree. But so choices are made for transfers for how they deal with certain things like film grain and certain stuff that I don't know, changes transfers. I don't know. I've seen bad transfers before, especially coming from our era, which would be the VHS to DVD era. I've seen plenty of VHS transfers just slapped onto DVD, and when you see them actual like a real transfer from later on, it'll look way better.
I mean, the fact that Ninja 3 is available on Blu-ray is pretty amazing that we're still talking about it 30 years later.
And like I say, Blu-ray, this is like, 4K is literally like, you might as well you're buying a goddamn digital film print, but the Blu-ray might as well be a digital film print too. I mean, that's unreal.
Which one do you have? Do you have Shout Factory or the Scream release? I think Shout Factory was
I have
2018
or
vice
Factory,
versa.
I don't know. Well, there was one that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know if Scream Factory existed 10 years ago.
2018.
So that might have been Shout. This is the Scream Factory. This is the 2018. This is the brand new, the newer transfer, which, like I say, looks fucking fantastic. So. But this also has all the new special features, interviews with people, Lucinda Dickey has an interview on here.
Oh, good.
A brand new one, a couple of new stuff. I don't know. I got it mostly. I got it because it's Blu-ray. It was really cheap. You can get this. Is not an expensive movie.
No.
To buy, and yeah, I really wanted to that Furstenberg commentary.
The special features are the selling point on those discs. Let's be honest. It's. I mean, the movie's great, but to have quality, that extra stuff.
But yeah,
I mean, some of the
like if I had this on DVD, I probably wouldn't have bought the Blu-ray.
I have the Nemesis
just kept it.
Blu-ray, and that looks great. Some of those MVP or MVD Blu-ray releases.
Oh, those are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have that. I have all the Nemesis ones. Yeah.
Some of these films it will shock you because you've only seen them in a certain dingy quality your whole life, and then you see it again.
Plus, as to why I bought this now, because I saw it was cheap, and I thought, fuck, I've not seen that movie in 20 years, and I've only seen it full screen. Obviously, I never saw this in a theater.
Yeah, me neither. I was way too young.
So yeah, right. So yeah, I thought, man, that'd be a good one to revisit. Which is crazy to see all the movies that are getting new transfers and coming out now, that are 30, 20 plus years old. I'd say they're getting brand new transfers that I've never seen. To say I've never seen in a theater, I've never seen in widescreen. Period.
Yeah, I have not seen Ninja 3 in widescreen. And what I was going to say about Laserdisc lastly is that was one of the huge selling points to me when I was younger and I bought my Laserdisc player, was because I could get the proper aspect ratio and see what the filmmaker intended. Because, right. I mean, widescreen is as readily available as it is now, and we're used to it, was a huge fucking debate between studios and filmmakers in the 80s. So to get proper non-pan and scan was huge. And although this movie played fine, there was never an instance where I thought, oh, well, I'm sure that final shot where Shotokuji's walking along the skyline there, the mountain ridge, I'm sure that looked great. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm sure there wasn't a big loss at all.
It's not. I just found it interesting. Like, you could basically, for having watched this now, I can basically check off having seen this in a theater. I essentially seen that. A 35 millimeter film print of the film. I've essentially seen that. I
mean, I can't say anything. I bought American Ninja 1 through 4 on Blu-ray through Olive Films a while back, so I own those.
I do have a couple of those. I don't have the third one though on Blu-ray. I only have it on DVD. I think so.
I have it on the 2-pack DVD and the Blu-ray because I'm a gluttonous fuck.
Yeah, the Blu-ray. Yeah. I think I only have the first 2 on Bluray.
You're missing a good one. I
have the 3 on the DVD one.
The HD streaming isn't bad. It's on Tubi at the moment.
No, I'll watch the DVD. I'll watch what I own.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our episode on Ninja 3. We want to thank you guys for joining us. And like we said, we're going to be doing all 3s this year, right? So we're going to be the third entries. And
that's what I feel like. I feel like we should do that because that'll be a good go through of just franchises then.
Yeah.
Just finding franchises that last to 3 or more.
Which is not as common
Nightmare
as
on Elm Street, yeah. Friday the 13th. There's plenty of them.
Lethal Weapon 3.
But there's
lots of stuff.
I was going to say there's plenty of action movies and stuff. Yeah, so I think we should do that. I think that'd be fun.
If you guys are out there and you have a third film in a series that you want us to look at, write on the Facebook or email us. Let us know. Let us know what you guys think about it, and maybe we'll consider it to do on the show in the future. Speaking for Trevor Anderson, I am Jason Rugard, and we are the Movie Mavericks.